Prabhuji. Om Agyanam Timirandasya Jnana Shalakya Chakshurunmiltamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swarupam Kadamayan Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapatakam Shri Guru Vaishnam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganda Gunatatam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganda Dita Shiv Shakavitam Cha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Mati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasadesh Tarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopayakanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishman Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhesacha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patiranam Pavane Bhiveshane Panamonama Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Yes, yes. His guest Ashwini Prabhu. Roji यहाँ से start करना है.
So in this way, if we try to understand our relationship with God, there are ways and means. There are books and there is knowledge. So why not take advantage of them? Everyone should take advantage of this knowledge. Try to understand that in the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures, everywhere it is said that God is great. And that although we are qualitatively one with God, we are minute. The ocean and the minute particle of water have the same quality, but the quantity of salt in the drop of water and quantity of salt in the ocean are different. They are qualitatively one, but quantitatively different. Similarly, God is all powerful and we have some power. God creates everything and we can create a small machine to fly, just like the small machines with which children play. But God can create millions of planets flying in the air. That is the qualification of God. You cannot create any planets. Even if you can create a planet, what is the benefit of that? There are millions of planets created by God, but you also have the creative power. God has power and you have power. But his is so great that yours cannot compare to it. If you say, I am God, that is foolishness. You can claim that you are God, but what acts have you performed so extraordinary that you can claim that you are God? This is ignorance. The knowledge of one who thinks himself God has been taken away by the spell of Maya. So our relationship is that God is great and we are minute. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly says, all living entities are my parts and parcels. Qualitatively, they are one with me, but quantitatively, they are different. So we are simultaneously one with and different from God. That is our relationship. We are all one. We are one because we have the same qualities as God. But if we study ourselves minutely, we will find that although we have some great qualities, God has them all in greater quantities.
Naveen Prabhuji.
We cannot have anything that is not in God. That is not possible. Therefore, in the Vedanta Sutra, it is said that everything that we have is also found in God. It is emanating from God. So our relationship is that because we are small, because we are minute, we are the eternal servitors of God. In this material world also, in ordinary behavior, we see that a man goes to serve another man because the other man is greater than him and can pay him a nice salary. So naturally, the conclusion is that we are small. Our duty is to serve God. We have no other business. We are all different parts and parcels of the original entity.
Yes, his guest, the Shabda Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. A screw which is connected with the machine is valuable because it is working with the whole machine. And if the screw is taken away from the machine or if it is faulty, it is worthless. My finger is worth millions of dollars as long as it attaches to this body and is serving the body. And if it is cut off from this body, then what it is worth? Nothing. Similarly, our relationship is that we are very small particles of God. Therefore, our duty is to dovetail our energies with Him and cooperate with Him. That is our relationship. Otherwise, we are worthless. We are cut off. When the finger becomes useless, the doctor says, "Oh, amputate this finger." Otherwise, the body will poison. Similarly, when we become godless, we are cut off from our relationship with God and suffer in this material world. If we try to join again with the Supreme Lord, then our relationship is revived. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We are moving to the next. Yes, Ishu Prabhu.
The highest love. Spiritual life means to be in association with Supreme Lord and to exist in bliss and knowledge eternally. Such eternal association means to play with Krishna, to dance with and love Krishna. Or Krishna can become your child, whatever you like. Unless one can love Krishna, unless one finishes with love for cats, dog, nation, and society, and instead concentrate his love on Krishna, there is no question of happiness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Swati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. If one protects that the tender creeper of devotional service nicely, then gradually it will produce the fruit of unalloyed love for God. Unalloyed love for God means love that is not tinged with by desire for material benefit, for mere philosophical understanding, nor for fruitive results. Unalloyed love is to know God is great, I am his part and parcel, and therefore he is my supreme lovable object. This consciousness is the highest perfection of human life and the ultimate aim of all methods of self realization. If one reaches this point, God is my only beloved, Krishna is the only lovable object, then one life is perfect. And when one tastes that transcendental relationship with Krishna, then one feels real happiness. The devotional creeper will then be so strongly protected that just by catching hold of it, one will be able to reach the supreme destination. If one climbs steadily up a tree, one eventually comes to the very top. Similarly, if one can achieve love of Godhead by catching the devotional creeper, there is no doubt that one will reach the transcendental abode of Krishna and one will associate with him personally, just as we are associating here face to face.
Hare Krishna. God is not fictional or imaginary. He is as real as we are. Actually, we are under illusion. We are living as if this body were our factual self, although this body is not at all reality, but only a temporary manifestation. We dare to presume that there is no God or that he has no form. This mental speculation is due to the poor fund of knowledge. Lord Krishna and his abode exist, and and one can go there, reach him, and associate with him. That is a fact. Spiritual life means to be in association with the Supreme Lord and to exist in bliss and knowledge eternally. Such eternal association means to play with Krishna, to dance with and love Krishna, or Krishna can become your child, whatever you like.
There are 5 primary relationships with Krishna: as a passive devotee, as a servant, as a friend, as a parent, and as a lover. The cows in Krishna's abode are also liberated souls. They are called Surabhi cows. There are many popular pictures showing how Krishna loves the cows, how he embraces and kisses them. That passive relationship with Krishna is called Sant. Their perfect happiness is achieved when Krishna comes and simply touches them. Ashwini Prabhu.
Other devotees are inclined to actually give service. They think Krishna wants to sit down, I will arrange a place for him. Krishna wants to eat, I will get him some nice food. And they actually make these arrangements. Other devotees play with Krishna as friends on equal terms. They do not know that Krishna is God. To them, Krishna is their lovable friend and they cannot forget him for a moment. All day and all night, they think of Krishna. At night, when they are sleeping, they think, oh, in the morning, I shall go and play with Krishna. And in the morning, they go to Krishna's house and stand by while Krishna is decorated by his mother before going out to play with his friends in the fields. There is no other activity in Krishna's abode. There is no industry, no rushing to the office, and no such nonsense. There is sufficient milk and butter, and everyone eats plentifully. Krishna is very fond of his friends, and sometimes he enjoys stealing butter for them. One can actually live this way, and that is the perfection of existence. We should hanker for that perfection stage of life. Krishna consciousness is the process to attain it.
हाँ प्रभु जी, मैं यही सोच रहा था इसको पढ़ के कि पढ़ने में कितना इजी लग रहा है, सुनने में। उठो सुबह भगवान के साथ जाओ, देखो, खेलो, बट आई थिंक द फैक्ट वी वांटेड टू एंजॉय सेपरेटली, या वी वांट टू बी कृष्णा, एक्चुअली हम कृष्णा ही बनना चाहते हैं। सारी प्रॉब्लम ही वहां से शुरू हो गई।
Yes, very true.
अदरवाइज सब कुछ बहुत इजी था।
True.
Anyways, but as long as one has even a slight attachment for this material world, one has to remain here. Krishna is very strict. He does not allow anyone to enter into his association who has any tinge of the material conception of life. Bhakti must be free from material contamination. Do not think I am a very learned scholar. I shall find out what is the absolute truth by mental speculation. That is nonsense. One can go on and on speculating and will never find the source of all sources. It is said in the Brahma Samhita, one can go on speculating about the absolute truth for millions and millions of years, and still it will not be revealed. One can rot in this material world as he is and can go on speculating, but that is not the right process. Here is the process Bhakti Yoga. तो इसमें एक पॉइंट आया था कि one, as long as one even have a slight attachment for this material world, one has to remain here. Krishna is very strict. So before we come to the material world, right, we supposedly, my understanding is we were all in the spiritual world, right, and we fall down because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. And now अभी हमको भगवान ने यहाँ पे पूरी अपॉर्चुनिटी दे दी है to enjoy separately. अभी भगवान स्ट्रिक्टली देख रहे हैं कि आप कितना सीरियस है वापस आने के लिए, and until you have that desire, so even when you are dead, after you die, I mean, you have to go through all different places. वहाँ पे भी भगवान चेक करते रहते हैं कि अच्छा आपको यहाँ रुकने का मन तो नहीं है, यहाँ एंजॉय करने का मन तो नहीं है. So it is really very difficult actually. और ये जो desire है पता नहीं कब जाग जाए. No, what do you have any point to make or comment?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And that is why, like, that is why Krishna says that the solution is Saradharman Paritajya. And then how to do that Paritajya thing, that's a chanting comes into picture, because chanting should go you after birth. There was one devotee of Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, and he was very it was female disciple, and she used to serve very nicely to her spiritual master, but she left her body early age, like 30s or somewhere. So after she left her body, other disciples went to her Guru Maharaj, and because she was serving very nicely, so they asked that if she went back to Godhead. And she was very dear devotee of Guru Govind Maharaj, and she was serving very nicely. So most of the devotees were sure that she will go back home, back to Godhead. So they asked actually Guru Govind Maharaj that if she went back home, back to Godhead, but Maharaj said, no, she became Surbhi cow in Swargalok, because she has some material desires. So even though very, very advanced devotees you are serving very nicely, getting rid of this material world is not very easy. There is still chance that yes, a slight tinge of that material desire will keep us trapped into this material world. That makes sense. Does that make sense?
Thank you. No, thank you, Prabhuji, for sharing. Yeah. Yeah, you can move forward. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes.
Chaitanya says that to render devotional service to Krishna is the highest professional stage of life. And compared to this, other things for which people are hankering in this material world are like bubbles in the ocean. Generally, people are after rewards and therefore they become religious. They say, I am Hindu, I am Christian, I am Jew, I am Mohammedan, I am this, I am that, and therefore I cannot change my religion. I cannot accept Krishna. This is called religiosity, dharma, with such a materialistic sectarian idea of religion. They will not, they will rot in this material world stuck to rituals and faith. They are under the impression that if they follow the religious principles, they will get material prosperity. Of course, if one stick to any kind of religious faith, you will get facilities for material life.
Why do people want this material prosperity or sense gratification? They are thinking, I shall have a very nice wife, I shall have very good children, I shall have a very good post, I shall become president, I shall become prime minister. This is sense gratification. And one and when one is frustrated and has seen that to be rich or to attain the presidency cannot give him happiness, after squeezing out all the taste of sex life, he is completely frustrated. Then perhaps he takes to LSD and try to become one with the void. But this nonsense cannot give happiness. Is the happiness? One must approach Krishna, otherwise it will end in LSD, confusion, and roaming in impersonal void concepts. People are frustrated. They must be frustrated if they do not have a genuine spiritual life, because a person is a spiritual by nature. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Swati Mataji.
How can anyone be happy without Krishna? Suppose one is thrown into the ocean. How can he be happy there? That is not for us. One may be a very good swimmer, but how long will he be able to swim? He eventually becomes tired and drowns. Similarly, we are spiritual by nature. How can we be happy in this material world? It is not possible. But men are trying to remain here, making so many temporary adjustments for survival. This patchwork This patchwork is not happiness. If one really wants happiness, here is the process. One must attain love of Godhead. Unless one can love Krishna, unless one finishes with love for cat, dogs, country, nation and society, and instead concentrates his love on Krishna, there is no question of happiness. Rupa Goswami has given a very nice example in this regard. There are many drugs which saturate one with ideas or hallucinations, but Rupa Goswami says that unless one tastes that final drug of love of Godhead, Krishna Prem, he will have to be captivated by meditation, impersonal monism, and so many other aspects.
Namaskar, Mataji.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes that to attain unalloyed love of Krishna, one has to execute devotional service or Krishna consciousness. One has to engage oneself exclusively in serving Krishna. The highest perfectional stage of unalloyed devotion is to be free from all material desires, all mental speculation, and all fruitive activities. The basic principle of unalloyed devotion is that one cannot maintain any desire other than to become fully Krishna conscious. Even if one knows that all other forms of God are also Krishna, one should not worship any other form but should concentrate on the Krishna form. Krishna has many forms, but one only has to worship Krishna in his form with a flute, as in the Radha Krishna deity. Simply concentrate on that form, and all mental speculation and fruitive activities will fall away. One has to cultivate Krishna consciousness favorably, and that means to execute service by which Krishna becomes satisfied. Krishna consciousness is not attained by manufacturing one's own way. I may think that I am doing something in Krishna consciousness, but who is sanctioned in it? who has sanctioned it. For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna hesitated to fight for certain moral reasons, but he was viewing the situation from the platform of fruitive activities on which one has to enjoy or suffer the results. He was considering that if he killed his family members, he would then be subjected to many reactions. This conclusion, however, was not sanctioned by Krishna. The law of action and reaction in the material world is called karma, but devotional service transcends karma.
Unalloyed love must be free of all tinges of fruitive activities, karma, and all tinges of mental speculation and material desire. That unalloyed devotional service should be favorably fixed on Krishna. Favorably means in accordance with what he desires. Krishna desired that the battle of Kurukshetra take place. It was all arranged by him. Arjuna was told, "You are thinking in your own way, but even if you do not fight, rest assured that because it has been arranged by me, none of these warriors who are assembled here are going to back to their homes. They will be killed here. It has already been arranged. God desires is such that one cannot change it. Krishna has two qualities. He can protect and he can also kill. If he wants to kill someone, there is no power in the world that can protect him. And if he protects someone, there is no power in the world that can kill him. Krishna desire is supreme. Therefore, we have to dovetail our desires with Krishna's. Whatever Krishna desires, no one can make null and void because he is the supreme Lord. Therefore, our duty is to dovetail our acts with Krishna's desires, not to manufacture an action and then declare, "I'm doing this action in Krishna consciousness." We have to be very careful to ascertain whether Krishna actually wants it. Such authorized knowledge is instructed by representative of Krishna. In our prayers of praise to the spiritual master, we are signing daily. If the spiritual master is satisfied, then God will be satisfied. And if one dissatisfies his spiritual master, then there is no way for him to please God. Hare Krishna.
Therefore, as far as possible, one has to execute the order of one's spiritual master. That will enable one to progress. That is the essence of favorable execution of Krishna consciousness. In my old age, I have come to America and I'm trying to teach Krishna consciousness because my spiritual master gave me an order that I must do it. It is my duty. I do not know whether I shall be a success or failure. It doesn't matter. My duty is completed. If I can present before you whatever I have heard from my spiritual master, this is called the favorable execution of Krishna consciousness. Those who are actually serious should take the order of Krishna through the representative of Krishna as their entire life and soul. One who sticks to this principle is sure to progress. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that way, and my spiritual master used to say, the spiritual master is a transparent via medium. For example, I can see the letters of this book very nicely through these transparent eyeglasses, without which I cannot see because my eyes are defective. Similarly, our senses are all defective. We cannot see God with these eyes. We cannot hear Hare Krishna with these ears. We cannot do anything without the via medium of the spiritual master. Just as a defective eye cannot see without the via medium of spectacles, so one cannot approach this Supreme Lord without the transparent via medium of the spiritual master. Transparent means that the via medium must be free of contamination. If it is transparent, one can see. If you want, we can stop the flow and they understand.
If anyone has some realizations or some learnings or want to share some situations.
The Shavta Bro did not read today, is it?
मुझे पढ़ा था उन्होंने आज
पढ़ा था क्या? अच्छा, okay.
Yes, Guruji, I have read.
voice.
Okay.
कुछ लर्निंग नहीं, बस वो पॉइंट बहुत स्ट्राइकिंग है जो लास्ट में आया ना, एट इफ वन डिससैटिस्फाइड इज स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर नो वे फॉर हिम टू प्लीज गॉड। अब इसमें क्वेश्चन ये आता है, मैं उस तरफ नहीं जाऊंगा बिकॉज टोटल एक अलग डिस्कशन आ रहा है, बट जैसे कि आप भगवान को सर्विस कर रहे हो, यू आर कंटिन्यूअसली सर्विंग गॉड, यू आर टीचिंग एंड स्प्रेडिंग द मिशन ऑफ गॉड, बट यू आर disregarding your spiritual master. तो उस सिनारियो में क्या होता है? यहाँ पर पढ़ते तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि there is no way they can go back to Godhead. They may have to suffer probably, even though they are doing preaching.
कपिल भगवान बताए हैं भागवतम में कि वो वैसा कर रहा है जैसे राख के ऊपर हवन करना होता है, वैसा बताया। उसका एग्जांपल देखिए, मतलब वो उसका एफर्ट वेस्ट है, जैसे कोई हवन करे राख के ऊपर, बोले वैसा है।
Okay.
भागवतम में कपिल भगवान बता रहे हैं कि जो इस तरह से करता है कि उसको लगता है कि बस जो भी है भगवान ही है और बीच में सबको वो हटाता चलता है, तो फिर वो सब वेस्ट है। तो उसका एग्जांपल देते हैं इस तरह से कि जैसे किसी ने राख लगा के उसके ऊपर सोचे कि अब मैं आग जलाऊंगा इसके ऊपर, मतलब राख ऑलरेडी भर रखी है, इस पे क्या आग हवन करेगा भाई। इस टाइप से
ये अच्छा पॉइंट बताया आपने, थैंक यू।
एडिंग ऑन टू दिस पॉइंट, कल ही सुन रहा था मैं एक लेक्चर में, तो उसमें बताया था कि 16 चैप्टर आई गेस भगवत गीता का डिस्कस कर रहे थे। उसमें बोल रहे थे कि भगवान डिस्क्राइब कर रहे थे असुर कौन है और देविक क्वालिटी से लोग कौन है। तो उसमें असुर का बता रहे थे भगवान कि those who do not follow the Vedic principles, rituals, क्योंकि वेद मेरे से आए हैं, those who are not following the Vedic principle, और वेद डिस्क्राइब करते हैं to go to approach God by a spiritual master. So डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली भगवान यही बताना चाह रहे थे कि जो वैदिक प्रिंसिपल फॉलो नहीं करता, इवन दे आर डूइंग द गुड थिंग्स इन देयर लाइफ, फिर भी वो असुर ही माने जाएंगे। इट डजंट मैटर कि अपने सब कुछ सही कर रहे हैं लेकिन वो प्रिंसिपल से नहीं कर रहे हैं, वैदिक प्रिंसिपल से नहीं कर रहे हैं, जो कुछ भी काम कर रहे हैं, तो दैट विल बी कंसिडर्ड असुर। तो उनकी क्वालिटी असुर वाली मानी जाएगी। तो वहां से भी हम डिराइव कर सकते हैं कि इट्स वर्थलेस if you are not doing by the given principles. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for sharing. Anyone wants to add something, highlight some point?
Dashabda Prabhu wants to add few points. Yes, bhai.
No, I don't have much time.
Sorry, I used your name because I did not hear you from long time.
Sorry बोलिए।
मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि ऐसे ही मैं आपका नाम ले दिया, काफी दिन से आपको सुनने को नहीं मिला ना, इसलिए।
Yes, Roji, we will talk.
चलेगा
I was planning, but yes,
yeah. आप शेयर करना चाहते हैं कुछ?
नहीं प्रभु जी।
कुछ अच्छा नहीं लगा आपको? ये तो अजीब हो गया। कृपया इतनी मेहनत से क्या कुछ अच्छा ही लगा?
मुझे ऐसा नहीं है, काफी सारे पॉइंट्स थे जो काफी अच्छे थे। लाइक लास्ट में जैसे हमने पढ़ा कि आपने पढ़ा था कि वो हम डिफेक्टिव सेंसेस का बता रहे थे कि हम देख नहीं पाएंगे, भगवान को देख नहीं पाएंगे, सुन नहीं पाएंगे।
वो अच्छी थी ना एनालॉजी जिसमें बताया गया है कि भाई डिफेक्टिव को तो हम देख ही नहीं सकते हैं।
जी जी।
हमको एक चाहिए चश्मा चाहिए ना देखने के लिए।
जी।
चश्मे से पता चल सकता है कि एक्चुअली क्या है। एक बार किसी सेंट से पूछा था कि गुरु की ऐसे जरूरत क्या है, तो वो एक अच्छी एनालॉजी देते हैं, कहते हैं जीपीएस की तरह होता है गुरु। जैसे आपको कहीं जाना है तो आप बहुत सारे तरीके यूज कर सकते हैं जाने के, बट उससे सबसे बेस्ट क्या है कि आप जीपीएस यूज करें, उसमें एड्रेस डालें और आपको कुछ करना ही नहीं है, एज इट इज बस जीपीएस को फॉलो करें और आप पहुंच जाएंगे। बोले गुरु वैसा ही है, आपको कृष्ण चाहिए तो आपके पास दुनिया भर के शास्त्र सब कुछ है, दुनिया भर के तरीके हैं, राइट। अब शास्त्र में अलग अलग पॉइंट भी आ जाते हैं फिर, है ना, तो बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाएगा फिर आपके लिए। तो बेस्ट तरीका क्या है, गुरु वो एक जीपीएस की तरह ही है, उसका इंस्ट्रक्शन फॉलो कीजिए और आप कृष्ण को प्राप्त कर लेंगे।
जी ब्रोजी, इनफैक्ट ब्रोजी मैंने पढ़ा भी था, जीपीएस की फुल फॉर्म भी ऐसे लिखी थी कि गुरु परंपरा सिस्टम।
अरे अच्छा ये नया है। अमेजिंग अमेजिंग। ओके, ये स्वाति माता जी।
मुझे वो पॉइंट अच्छा लगा था, ऐसे कि जो प्रभुपाद जी ने पहले भी बताया, जैसे हम भगवान के पार्ट एंड पार्सल हैं, ऐसे ही हैं हम यूजलेस हैं भगवान से अलग होके। जैसे हमारी कोई बॉडी पार्ट अगर हमसे अलग हो जाए बॉडी से तो उसकी कोई इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं है, वो यूजलेस है। वैसे ही हम लोग भी यूजलेस अगर अब भगवान की सेवा में नहीं लगा रहे हैं या वो प्रेम डेवलप नहीं कर रहे हैं। तो दैट पॉइंट वाज नाइस।
Yeah. वो सागर की बूंद वाला ना, पता है क्या है, ये मायावादी लोग पता है क्या बोलते हैं कि जो वो एक्चुअली वाला एग्जांपल देते हैं कि जैसे सागर की बूंद सागर से अलग हो जाती है, तो बोलते हैं उसे पूर्णता कब मिलेगी, जो सागर में मिल जाएगी। तो बोले उसका अपना कोई अस्तित्व नहीं है, वो सागर में ही मिल जाएगी और उसका अस्तित्व खत्म हो जाएगा। तो ये मायावादी लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं कि, जबकि हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं वैष्णव सिस्टम में, हम बोलते हैं कि नो, वी हैव आवर इंडिविजुअलिटी इन द सेंस वी आर पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ कृष्णा, सो वी आर qualitatively quantitatively we might not be same, but qualitatively we are same. जैसे प्रभुपाद सोल्ट का एग्जांपल लेते हैं, qualitatively we are same, quantitatively we are different. तो प्रभुपाद इसका क्या बोलते हैं कि हाँ मिल तो जाती है, बट बाद में वो भाप बन के उड़ जाती है ऊपर, जब बादल बनने होते हैं ना, तो उसकी इंडिविजुअलिटी ब्रेक नहीं होती है, वो फिर से ऊपर बन चली जाती है। प्रभुपाद उस तरह से काटते हैं उस चीज को। तो पॉइंट आया ना, मैं सोचा कि इसलिए वो मैं लेके आया हूँ कि कई बार मायावादी लोग उसको दूसरे तरीके से भी कन्वर्ट करते हैं। तो प्रभात बोलते हैं कि नहीं, उसकी इंटेंसिटी लूज नहीं हो रही है, वो वापस भाप बन के ऊपर उड़ती है, फिर एक एक बूंद करके वापस मतलब धरती पे आती है। ओके।
जी एक पॉइंट और था, अभी वो जैसे आपने अभी आप जीपीएस वाला बता रहे थे ना कि मतलब इधर उधर नहीं देखने का, जो जीपीएस बता रहा है फॉलो करने का। मेरे को लगता है कि मतलब ऐसा कभी कभी ना हमें स्पिरिचुअलिटी में भी होना चाहिए रीजन, मतलब कि कभी कभी हम ज्यादा ना थ्योरी में और वो उन सब चीजों में ज्यादा दिमाग मारने लग जाते हैं, ऐसा क्यों, ये गलत है ये सही है। तो अभी अभी जैसे इसमें भी बता रहे थे प्रभुपाद की हम कभी समझ ही नहीं सकते, मतलब सिर्फ भक्ति योगी एक तरीका है। अगर हम मेंटल स्पेकुलेशन से जाएंगे ना तो कभी भगवान को समझ ही नहीं सकते कि ये सही है ये गलत है ऐसा क्यों है। तो मुझे लगता है कि एक बार अगर गुरु मिल जाते हैं तो मतलब फिर तो मतलब जो बोलते हैं वो करने का बस, मतलब वो करो और खत्म। मतलब ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं मारना चाहिए फिलोसफी में कि भाई क्या है क्यों है ऐसा क्यों है, कुछ फायदा नहीं है उस चीज से। मतलब अगर हम अपनी अपनी पोजीशन मेजर करेंगे तो हम तो मतलब एक एक कीड़े से भी ज्यादा इनसिग्निफिकेंट है अगर हम कंपेयर करेंगे, और फिर उससे कुछ फायदा ही नहीं है। मतलब हम कितना दिमाग दौड़ा रहे हैं, वो कर ही नहीं सकते कभी हम। तो वो है कि गुरु को और भगवान को फॉलो करने का, इंस्ट्रक्शन फॉलो करें तो मतलब वो इजी हो जाएगा, फिर
इजी भी हो जाता है। और गुरु का ना सिंगल एजेंडा रहता है, आई वांट टू गिव कृष्णा टू दिस पुअर सोल। गुरु का क्लियर एजेंडा है कि मेरे पास जो है मुझे ऐसे देना है। और हमारा एजेंडा क्या है, चेंज हो सकता है। जैसे कि मैं शास्त्र स्टडी कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज आई वांट टू नो अबाउट कृष्णा, बट शास्त्र स्टडी करते करते मुझे ज्ञान हो गया, तो मेरे पास फैन फॉलोइंग बढ़ने लगी, तो अभी कृष्णा तो साइड में चले गए। आई एम जस्ट यूजिंग स्क्रिप्चर्स टू अर्न नेम फेम मनी, यू नो व्हाट आई मीन। तो मेरे पास अगर डायरेक्शन किसी ने मेरे कान नहीं पकड़ रखे हैं तो मैं ट्रैक पे रहना भी बड़ा मुश्किल हो सकता है, क्योंकि भक्ति में दो सब चीजें मिलती रहती है ना आपको इकट्ठा। भक्ति बढ़ेगी तो नेम फेम मनी ये सब भी मिलता रहेगा। तो कंट्रोल पॉइंट रहता है गुरु, वो चेक करता रहता है। एक डिसाइपल थे, अपने गुरु को बोले, बहुत सुने हम एक संत से एक कथा, कहे कि गुरु गंगा की स्तुति सुनाओ। कहे गुरु महाराज गंगा की स्तुति याद नहीं। बोले डूब मरो ना तुम गंगा में, फिर जाओ जीने कोई फायदा, डूब मरो जाके। वो बड़ा फॉल। अब कौन कहेगा कि अब शास्त्रों के हिसाब से तो सुसाइड करना तो अलाउड नहीं है, कोई कहेगा अरे तुम तो सुसाइड कर रहे हो। बट जो भी है गुरु ने कहा है, छत गए टीले पे और गंगा में छलांग लगा दी। और गुरु भक्त थे, गंगा जी तक बात थी, तो गंगा जी ने गोद में लेके उनको अपने गोद में तब गंगा स्तुति याद कराई। मरे नहीं वो, गंगा जी ने गोद में ले लिया उनको, गंगा स्तुति याद कराई। बाहर आके गुरु महाराज को सारी गंगा स्तुति सुनाई कुछ दिन में, बड़े खुश हो गए। बस यही है। क्योंकि स्क्रिप्चर्स में भी बड़ा डेविएशन आपको मिलेगा कि स्क्रिप्चर जिसको बोलेगा, पता चला गुरु ने स्क्रिप्चर ने जिसको फॉरवर्डन बोला है, गुरु बोला नहीं कर लो। अब जैसे चैतन्य महाप्रभु नित्यानंद प्रभु को बोले कि तुम जाके शादी कर लो, अरे सन्यासी को तुम शादी के लिए बोल रहे हो, ये तो स्क्रिप्चर तो बड़ा बिल्कुल ही अगेंस्ट हो गया है। तो कह रहे नहीं तुम शादी कर लो। अरे बाबा हम हमें शादी के लिए क्यों बोल रहे हो? बोले नहीं आप शादी कीजिए, बड़े बड़े लोगों को मैं प्रीच नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, आप शादी कीजिए, हवेली वगैरह बनाइए बढ़िया अपना, और उनको जाके प्रीच कीजिए। तो नित्यानंद प्रभु शादी करके 2 शादी किए थे, बड़ी हवेली वगैरह बनाए, फिर उन्होंने बड़े बड़े डिसाइपल्स भी बनाए थे फिर। तो मतलब वो हालांकि वो दोनों ही हैं, बट एक एग्जांपल सेट करते हैं हम लोग हम जैसों के लिए कि गुरु से जो आने वाले इंस्ट्रक्शन है वो हमें वैसे कैलकुलेट भी नहीं करनी चाहिए। इसने ऐसा कैसे कह दिया गुरु महाराज, मुझे ये क्यों कह रहे हैं, वो क्यों कह रहे हैं, अरे जो कह रहे हैं उसे करने का, क्योंकि वही एक राइट मीडियम। स्क्रिप्चर्स हमें, स्क्रिप्चर्स में सब कुछ है, कृष्ण कह रहे सब कुछ बताया ऑब्वियसली, बट देन गुरु जो है ना, दैट इज गुरु मुख पद्म वाक्य चित्रित, तो वो ही है मेन जो भी है। और ना करीबे आशा होता है ना गुरु पूजा में जो गाते हैं, वही है मेन। करेक्ट है ना?
यस जी, गुरु जीपीएस में होनी चाहिए बस, जैसे माता जी दादी गुरु परंपरा सिस्टम में तभी फॉलो करें बस।
हाँ हाँ, परंपरा सिस्टम में हो रहा है तो ठीक रहता है।
That's all from my side.
Okay.
Anything anyone wants to add? Okay, stop.
ठीक है भाई, forgive me for my absence in last 2 weeks. I had a very busy time.
Yes, Guruji.
Try to be continued from today onwards. So sorry about that. Okay. वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
Everyone, thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.